Robyn plays this really weird card where she forgets or she doesn't know why, and that's a typical MO for her. I can't even bring anything up with Kody about Robyn because she's perfect, she's supportive, she's the only one who's been loyal. Like, he just shuts it down. There's no communication.
This whole story about that I turned him against them is ridiculous and bogus. They're just not dealing with their own issues. They need to stop talking about me.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Monday, October 2nd, 2023. This is going to be not a super long video. I just wanted to talk to you guys about something that happened in last night's episode of Sister Wives, and oh my goodness, I'm still sick. Check my community tabs for more information about what's going on. But Robyn Brown was over at Meri's house. First of all, she went inside Meri's house. She got to drive Cody's truck. Remember a couple seasons ago, he said that he didn't want soccer moms driving around trucks. Well, I guess one soccer mom got to drive around his truck. And she was at Meri's house and she was talking to Meri. Meri was letting her know that she's moving her stuff to Utah. And for whatever reason, Meri, you can tell, is just like completely waking up to the fact that Robyn is like manipulating her. And Robyn's like super quiet during their interactions while she's telling her that she's moving to Utah. And she ends up talking about how Cody life was ruined by Christine unraveling his life. Like, she told him that everything about his life before that he thought was great was bad, and that Christine really messed him up, and that if he's really honest with himself, he'll understand. He gets to that point where he realizes that it's Christine's fault that everything has happened. This was after there was a big exchange between Christine kind of explaining that the reason why things with Sister Wives relationships kind of fell apart with Robyn is because Robyn wanted to have a nanny to help with her kids, and she didn't want the Sister Wives to help with her kids, which she felt was kind of like a line in the sand, because one of the big things that Sister Wives do is help take each care of each other's kids. And when they didn't have that connection, there was just like nothing for them to connect on. And then Janelle was talking about how Robyn has a propensity to, do things to people and then pretend like she doesn't remember or she doesn't know, or she plays clueless. And then Cody acts like she's perfect. So nobody can actually confront Robyn about what she's done because she plays dumb. And then Cody always defends her, according to Janelle. And as a result, it just created this dynamic where Robyn had a nanny and she was over on her other side and she was doing her own thing, and there was nothing for them to bond over, and Cody's calling her perfect and no one can, stand up to how perfect she is. And you're like, okay, I can see what happened here. And for some reason, Robyn turned that whole conversation into them accusing her of turning Cody against them. So Robyn turned that whole situation into believing that Christine and Janelle were accusing her of turning Cody against Christine and Janelle. And that's actually not what they were saying. I never heard either one of them ever say that Cody was turned against them by Robyn at all. I think they've said that Cody played favorites, but I've never, ever, ever heard them say that Robyn was the reason that he turned against them. Christine says he lost his religion, okay? But it gets to a point after that whole situation where Robyn's like, I'm not the one that, I didn't turn them against them, and they just need to stop talking about me. Literally, she says they need to stop talking about me. And then she goes into this conversation with Meri where she goes on to blame Christine, literally blame Christine for everything that's happened in the family that is wrong. I've never seen anything like it. Check it out.
What Christine has done is messed him up, and he doesn't want to admit it, but it's the truth. Christine totally just destroyed his past, like what he thought was a functional situation. She basically said it was horrible every single minute of every single day type of thing. Stories upon stories of all of the things that she was going through, and not about you and Janelle as much as him.
So all of the anger and the hostility and the like frustration and him losing his religion isn't the reason why he's changed. It also has nothing to do with the fact that like he pushed everyone away, strung everyone along. All of them are saying that Kody's a different person. And Robyn is saying the reason why he's a different person is because Christine messed him up. But he doesn't want to admit that. So she just a couple of minutes before that had said something like, Kody, they're blaming me for turning Kody against them. But then here she says that Kody's life was destroyed by Christine, but he doesn't want to admit it. But that's what she thinks. So is she then telling Kody that Christine and these stories ruined his life and ruined his image and ruined his idea of what polygamy was? And that's why he's so angry all the time? Like, is she feeding his delusions with these ideas? I mean, she is the one that believes she's the counselor here. And then she's like talking about how he's had story after story after story of Kody doing these things, of Christine saying that she was miserable all the time, and not about the sister wives, about him. First of all, I don't think that this is actually what Christine said. And even if this was true, this doesn't even make sense. How would Christine's unhappiness during that period mess up his life story? Christine and him, he's even admitted struggled, and they write in the book about their struggles, but that they found a good spot. And then she has said on the show that when she needed help, he wouldn't give it to her, and that's kind of when she stopped. But before then, she did everything she needed and he needed and everything he wanted. But then she just sort of got over it because she felt like he wasn't being any means at all reciprocal. If Kody were so fragile, like you're telling me his ego is so fragile, that her expressing how she felt in reality, truthfully during that time, makes his whole life shatter, he has a very fragile sense of self and a very fragile life. Because someone being honest with you about their experience shouldn't be able to shatter your entire worldview. And Christine responds to this basically by saying she absolutely will not allow them to blame Kody's loss of religion on her. And Meri even says that she doesn't believe that Christine ever said that.
I'm not going to be responsible for Kody's losing his religion. That's ridiculous. To put me as the scapegoat for him for losing his faith, I never had that much power over Kody.
I believe she had frustrations. And if that's what Kody interpreted it as and relayed to Robyn as such, I don't think that's fair.
I wasn't there. I'm explaining to you what he said to me. All the years, all of it was hell.
It's really weird how she started the conversation, because she initially said something like, if he would admit it, it's Christine that ruined everything for him. If he really would think about it and admit it. But then I think she can sense that Meri is kind of not buying it. And then she's like, well, that's just what he told me. All these stories upon stories upon stories of her saying every part of their life was hell. Meri actually wakes up and is doesn't buy it, right? She thinks that Kody's lying or he's misrepresenting it. And he's using Christine as a scapegoat. Christine flat out says that he's using me as a scapegoat for losing his religion. Kody was saying 4 seasons ago that he didn't know if he believed in plural marriage anymore. And I don't recall him ever saying anything to do with the fact that it had anything to do with Christine at all. I don't remember or recall him ever saying that the reason why he was losing his polygamy mindset had anything to do with that. He just said he didn't want to advocate for it anymore because there was such inequity between the women. And now we're to believe that this year it's Christine's fault because she was honest with him about the struggles she had. So if this is true, and it's not, you can't put this on Christine because every single person is responsible for their own part in this position. And if Christine was unhappy, she has a right to share that she was unhappy. But I'm pretty confident that Christine didn't at all ruin his life by sharing the fact that she was unhappy, because he knew that at the time. I'm sure she was not hiding this from him. It's ridiculous. But in polygamy, they don't get to have a say. They just have to keep sweet. Act like they're happy when they're not. And Christine just stopped keeping sweet. And that ruined it for him. So it ruined it for him when Christine stopped keeping sweet, is really what Robyn is saying. And that's just ridiculous. And so Robyn is basically reinforcing this delusion in him. It's just so stupid. Like, she just doesn't want to take any responsibility for the fact that she and Cody's relationship changed the dynamics of the family, and that Cody just went off with her because it was easier, because she would keep sweet, and the rest of the wives were just supposed to fend for themselves. And Robyn doesn't want, she's so angry at Christine because Christine doesn't want to have anything to do with her, that she would rather blame Christine than take any responsibility for herself. It's the opposite of empathetic. Like, all they're saying is that Cody chose Robyn, and that Robyn didn't keep doors open with them. Not that they blamed Robyn for Cody becoming angry. It's just such a weird switch here. And imagine having that kind of power that you could control someone's like whole life. That's just Cody not taking responsibility for his own life, and then Robyn feeding that delusion to him. It's just stupid. And it proves that Robyn does control him to a level, as Christine said.
No, I remember one of my biggest frustrations was every family party that I threw, he would come and be a guest at. He was always helping throw parties at Robyn's every time he's there. They were just a couple, and we were just kind of there on the sidelines. That's how I felt.
That's how it feels like what it's evolved to.
When Christine said this during the episode, this is exactly how I've felt watching the show for 13 years. Honestly, that we have been watching a couple, Cody and Robyn, hanging out with 3 ex-wives, and that it's them and then the 3 ex-wives, and that the other wives exist in a plane that's not with them, and that they're on their own island and they're together. Even the way that Robyn speaks about Cody, and she always speaks that she thinks that she can speak for Cody. And she even says in this episode that she speaks Cody because she can be the one to speak to him. If you're telling us that you speak Cody and that you can interpret things for him and, drill things down for him, then you're going to plant ideas in him, like you just did with Meri, where you told Meri that it was Christine's fault. But really, Cody found Robyn and it was easier, and then they just went off their merry little way, and then he told lies and he pitted the women against each other, but then Robyn's also pitting Cody against the other wives. It's obvious what happened here, and Cody and Robyn want to take no responsibility for it. And it's just stupid. Like, Janelle and Christine shouldn't be responsible for what Cody did, and they should be allowed to have wanted more in a relationship and to feel neglected. And all of this from what happened 20 years ago has nothing to do with how Cody's treated them recently. We haven't, if Robyn would have gone through a situation and Aurora needed surgery and Cody didn't go, she would have probably left him too. I mean, how much neglect was Cody going to give to the kids before the wives are just going to throw in the towel? It's not about what happened 20 years ago. It's literally what happened in the last 5 years or 10 years, Robyn. What happened 20 years ago is irrelevant to what happened in the last 10 years, Robyn. It's just a way for her to try to go back in time and not have to take responsibility for it. And same with him. I can say that this all broke down before Robyn came, and that's the truth. And that's why I'm always with Robyn. Okay, whatever. But then Robyn admits here too to trying to make, she admits to literally trying to string Meri along. It's gross.
I think he's trying to figure it out with Janelle and me, and then his strange way with you.
There's no question, Robyn. He's done with me. There's no question.
Meri, he talks about us all on the property still. He talks about you out there. I know her goal is to stick it out until they decide to figure it out. Well, I'm trying to give her a little bit of hope to hang on to.
A couple weeks ago in one of my videos, I said that Robyn is constantly stringing her along and like planting seeds in her head that like Cody does want to be with her and is still talking about a future with her, because she's been doing this to Meri for years. And Robyn has literally never admitted that she's doing this intentionally to make Meri hang on. And she tries to do it again and says, well, he still wants to work things out with you. He still talks about us out on the property together. And she's like, no. I know he's done with me. And she's like, well, I'm just trying to give her a little bit of a carrot or like a little bit of a rope to hang on to. So because I know that she wants to wait it out until they can work things out. So she's literally admitting, I'm giving her a rope, meaning I'm stringing her along. Does she think things through when she says these things? Does she put together that she's actually admitting to stringing Meri along and making Meri think that there's an opportunity here that there's not? Because she just told on herself. She told on herself here, and then she told on herself when she says, I'm not the one planting ideas in his head. I'm not turning Kody against Christine and Janelle when she really is. She can't even keep up with her lies because she's probably under so much stress. And at least Meri is like, understands that like Kody's not into it at all. I couldn't believe she would be so blatant there. So she's literally blaming Meri in one breath, blaming Christine in one breath, and then like totally stringing along Meri. And Christine says that that's all they've done for years is strung them along. And why? So that they can have money, so they can have their show, so that Robyn doesn't have to work, whatever. So Robyn can live her cushy life. It's very disgusting. There was a point in this episode as well that Meri even mentioned that for 2 years, Robyn never called or texted her. Like she would have to reach out to Robyn. So for Robyn to string her along and say, just hold on, but then Robyn doesn't actually put in an effort to have a relationship with her. She just said that like, there's no reason for her to stay because Robyn isn't even making an effort. She's pretending like she's making an effort on the show and she's pretending like they're close on the show. But Meri's like, no, I've been alone. She doesn't call or text me. And, you know, it gets to this point where Meri's just like, I have to leave. I got to do what I'm going to do. I got to take care of myself. My life is really happy and I've got all these great things going for me and I need to move on. And I'm going to go do those things. But you have to communicate with me if you want to see me or if you need something. But Robyn just excuses all of that and is basically like, I'm just so depressed about Janelle leaving. It's just stupid. Robyn just doesn't want a relationship with anyone at all that she can't control. But it's at the very end of this episode, after Robyn blames everyone, that then she suddenly accuses, I don't even know if she's accusing Kody or the wives of being tricked.
I love Kody, but I never wanted to live monogamy, and it feels like more and more that's where it's kind of headed, and I feel angry. I'm really angry. I wanted to live plural marriage. I feel like I'm starting to feel a little tricked or something, or like people are making decisions for my life that I did not choose. It's making me very angry and very depressed.
So she says that she was tricked and that she doesn't want to live monogamy. She wanted to live plural marriage. So, of course, she has to go all the way back to 10 years ago and pretend like they just tricked her and said that they were a plural family when they weren't really a plural family and they were all like miserable. And so then she can tell herself she was tricked and that she got into this marriage under fraudulent purposes or fraudulent pretenses. And then if that's the case, she could go to her church and say, I was tricked, I was manipulated, they brought me into this situation and I want out, they lied to me, it was neglectful, it was abusive, whatever, because that's the only way that she can get a release from Kody. So she wants to go all the way back to the beginning to make it seem like nothing in the last 13 years has mattered. The problem is that for the longest time, even when Robyn was there, they were still trying to make the family work. So it wasn't like they tricked her into believing that she was entering a plural family. She just changed the dynamic of the family. Kody decided she was the favorite. They got famous. They left their church. Kody left his religion. Robyn alienated Kody from everyone. Kody alienated Robyn from everyone. And they spent all of the wives' money, and then Kody neglected the kids on the other wives' kids, and Robyn just wants to build her case that she's the victim, which earlier on in the episode, Janelle said that she likes to play the victim, to which Robyn said that she doesn't play the victim, which is hysterical. And the other thing that she said in this episode that I didn't share was that she pretended like she called Janelle and told Janelle not to let him move out. And I was like, that never happened, or Janelle would have said something. So she was trying to convince Janelle not to let Kody move out. You can't do that, Robyn. She said that all these people are making choices for her life. No, her life is her life. She can't choose what anyone else does. And if her life in plural marriage falls apart, she has to take responsibility for what happened and just either stay with Kody and be a monogamist or move on. And as she said, not be in this family without Meri. She's going to have to put her money where her mouth is. But all of these excuses are just coming up flat for me. And this video was longer than I expected. But I just thought it was hysterical that she blamed Christine, that she tried to say that she wasn't turning Kody against the other wives, that she admitted to stringing along Meri, and so much more. Robyn continues to be delusional, feeding Kody's delusions. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.